All right, welcome everybody. Today we're joined with Vladimir. He's over at Alphakek, and we'll be going over some unexplored potential of crypto and AI. So always a very topical, exciting time to be talking about that. So I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself, Vladimir, and after that, just let me know when you want your slides up, and we'll dive in and
Yeah,
get started.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Congratulations to everyone participating being shortlisted in Dreamathon. I'm Vladimir. I'm founder of Alphakek, an AI lab that's focused on crypto related research mostly, but not only. You will find out during this workshop. I guess we could proceed immediately because I have about me slide right the next one, and it will be just easier. Just not to repeat myself. So we are the topic of this workshop. It has really clickbait title: exploring untapped potential in crypto and AI. Let me start, and you will see actually some real untapped potential. But before that, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Vladimir. I'm founder, chief scientist at Alphakek. I trained thousands of AI models during my AI career. I've worked in both big tech, academia, crypto. My research is cited in various AI labs and was even featured by OpenAI and NVIDIA. And Alphakek is our AI research lab that focused on the intersection of AI and internet capital markets and AI and crypto. We working on decentralized adaptive learning. We'll share a little bit about this, how to use it, how to leverage it during this workshop. Our AI models and AI infrastructure layer is used by a lot of projects by Virtuals, CoinGecko, Pudgy Penguins, Airreef. Hopefully, some of you will find it useful for your applications as well. If not, at least we can brainstorm a lot of interesting ideas together. Let's proceed. So during this workshop, we'll generally touch, three topics. What's Alphakek? That's short form for Alphakek. What's Alphakek Fractal and how to use it for you as Dreamathoners? And this will be the easy part of the workshop, I would say. And the hard part of the workshop is actually us discussing what's next for crypto and AI. And here on the right, you'll mostly see various meme images generated by our AI models. So in Somnia Dreamathon Discord, we actually had a discussion about what should I do during this hackathon, whether people want me to tell more about fractal, data, crypto on-chain, off-chain data analysis tool. Should we discuss what's next for crypto? Should we discuss our meme generator? And very little people were interested in meme generators, so we're not gonna touch it, but I'm just gonna add some various memes just to make the slides less boring and for you kind of entertain yourself. So let's proceed for the first the first part for Dreamathoners. This stream is public, so I guess people who are not participants of Dreamathon will also see this. So if you're Dreamathoners, you're eligible for free Alphakek API credits, and just message me on Discord to get them. We'll just give you a lot of API credits so you can experiment, build whatever you want. If you're not a Dreamathoner, unfortunately, we are not gonna give you any credits. But anyway, at least you can reach out to me to discuss your ideas or whatever. And of course, if you're a Dreamathoner, I also invite you to connect and just discuss your use cases, how we can work together, explore any potential synergies, whatever. So let's proceed. So Alphakek Fractal, what is it? How to use it? How it could be useful for you? Let's talk about this. So on the right, so Alphakek Fractal is a knowledge engine for AI, mostly for multimodal, large language models and visual language models that has multiple prominent features. It's a special kind of, I would say, of fuzzy knowledge graph with some features reasoning, caching, etc., etc. That's built essentially for crypto-specific data. So like what does it mean exactly? Is like crypto data has like multiple modalities. So you have just like natural text, natural language. It could be like social media posts. It could be uh, any articles or like documentation about crypto projects, whatever. There are also another modality is like on-chain data, which is like essentially table level data. You have trading charts, you have smart contract code, you have some results of security audits, you have some custom indexers for on-chain data, on-chain transactions, for trades, for tokens, for accounts, etc. We need to somehow process this. That's like one feature. So it should be like multimodal. It should process various kinds of data. Another thing is like, as we all know, crypto is extremely fast pacing. So like stuff is updating really quickly in crypto. What was the meta could be outdated literally in minutes. And also some of the sources that like appear in like newer sources can also be like not true, etc. So aside from multimodality, another like prominent feature that you will need to support if you're building like crypto native knowledge engine is supporting those overlapping like conflicting data points. You need to somehow reconcile them together, find like overlapping data and like merge it together, potentially try to find some conflicts and somehow resolve it, or at least acknowledge them in the data. So like model understands. So I have conflicting data. I need to somehow acknowledge and like just, if I cannot resolve it like on my own, at least I should like make it clear to the user that like here we have like some conflicts, so you like need to take a look at this myself instead of just like hallucinating the answer. And finally, it should be like uncensored and unbiased. Simply, you can like take a look at this recent like model training benchmark where like big tech models are immediately getting down on trading charts, and like open source models like DeepSeek actually going up. So like ideally you want your model to be like as neutral as possible, so it doesn't have any like biases against crypto. Like with some models, I'm not gonna call names right now, but like with some models, they actually are like just general have this sentiment against crypto. If you try to use them for any crypto related data, they will just like have this like inherent negativity against crypto due to inherent biases. And we presented this technology at NVIDIA GTC earlier this year. So like the image on the right is an explanation of what's going on in Fractal. Basically what I just say. So you have reasoning that's been cached. You have like real-time updates with node that are being like over-reasoned, and they are generating synthetic documents that are being used for context population, etc. If you want, I will share the link. You can dive deeper into this. For now, just the key idea is this like knowledge engine. That's how it's different from just using like ChatGPT or whatever for querying the data. So here's like another part. That's how to use Alphakek API. First of all, I saw that people are mostly interested like in AI, so we're gonna or like AI potential. So we're gonna switch to this really quickly. I assume if you are Dreamathoner, if you like made it into shortlist, and if you are participating, you actually like pretty. You should be a pretty good developer, and you definitely will figure out how to integrate these APIs. Like it's incredibly simple. You just provide the query, like the question for this like knowledge engine, and provide your API key, and that's literally it. You'll get the answer. You'll get like the list of 5 most relevant sources, and you can like integrate it as a part of, if you already have some crypto agent, you can integrate just as a tool. If you want, you can like use it for analysis inside your application, for sentiment analysis, or just to provide like the most recent news about this certain topic, technology, market sector that you're targeting, or whatever. So like on Alphakek website, you can like obtain the developer key, check documentation, open Swagger Playground to play around with API endpoints before writing the code. I actually think this will be like the easiest part, especially for you as developers, because you deal with this stuff all the time. If you'll have any issues, just like reach out to me, but I think it will be like extremely straightforward to you. I just want to give you like a lot of credits, so you will be able to like to brainstorm, maybe to provide feedback to me, and that's it. Now let's switch to more interesting parts. So we have this part about AI potential. So like we had those like 3 parts for presentation about like fractal, how to use the fractal, and like untapped AI potential. And the last one is actually like the biggest one. And we are gonna break it down in another 3 subsections. So we have like, to think about like untapped potential, we actually should think about what is already happening like at intersection of AI and crypto that's like not being used right now. And we also should think about like what will happen in crypto, probably in AI and crypto, like probably soon enough that you as a developer, as a builder, would be able to leverage. And I think to better understand this, we should like first figure out what's the current big picture of what's like happening in like AI in general. So let's start with the first part. Just like let's try to think what like probably the biggest like meta trends in AI that we saw during this year in 2025, and starting from this point, go further and try to figure out where to go, what we can like leverage, where's the risk reward, where is the blue CV. Yeah, and here's the Pepe. He's like jumping into the future, just like us. So like first, what happened like in AI and crypto in 2025? I posted this meme back in February on the right, like 2025. He who controls the RL rewards controls the universe. Yeah, this is a Dune reference. It's like Baron Harkonnen from Dune. Also Vladimir. That's like very. That's like why this meme has actually like 2 hidden meanings. So that's like me Vladimir and him Vladimir talking about like RL rewards. So the first big thing that happened in crypto that like it's yeah, it's like actually we just touched this. It's crazy to think it happened this year because it feels like eternity. So yeah, in the beginning 2025 we had like DeepSeek R1 release, and it like led to a lot of subsequent very interesting like researches that are being like unfolded and still unfolding now. So we had, first of all, like with DeepSeek, we've cracked the idea of how like open source AI community figure out how to crack AI, how to grok AI reasoning. So like before that, we had OpenAI 01 preview. We probably, I don't remember already, we probably had like 01 model being released already. So we had those closed source reasoning models, but we as open source community didn't quite understood back then how to achieve the same result. And DeepSeek were like the first ones who achieved that, and they did it pretty clearly. So they clearly outlined in their research like reports, papers, how did they do this. And without diving like too deep into details, like the R1 training was like a quite complex multi-step process, and right now we kind of know ways of doing it in more efficient manner. But the idea is that like we had those previous steps of when we like pre-train LLMs on just the corpus of like internet data, all the text we have, like whatever it could be like a mess. We just pre-train the model so it gets like the first like internal like innate understanding of like what's going on, of like of all the information knowledge from us humans. So like we have like after this we have supervised fine-tuning steps. We have instruction fine-tuning where like we turn this model into a chatbot, and it just repeats the behavior that was outlined in those like very labeled data samples in instruction fine-tuning data sets. We like optionally have like preferential data, we have like RLHF, but still like one issue with it is that it was still data labeled by humans. So like first we had like first step was like unlabeled data, so like human data unlabeled. Second step is like human data labeled by humans, and now we're like reaching this like third stage where you have learning environment where you like humans set the rules just once, and from this point AI just plays inside this environment and learns from these actions. And this is a huge step. We like the open source AI community still working, still like thinking how to scale it. But like potentially that means if you have a learning environment, you have an infinite amount of data, because like your agent can just essentially just try different stuff inside your environment, and this environment will like rate whether like this one was a good attempt, this one was a bad attempt, and from there the agent will like learn on its own. That's the stuff that we originally saw with like AlphaGo. Like everyone tries to achieve this with LLMs and VLMs. Right now, it's like easy to do with like coding tasks and math tasks because it's like they are easy to verify. And I argue it should be the same for crypto. We don't see any widespread application yet, but this is the part where like we definitely see a lot of untapped potential. And another stuff that's like still being figured by everyone, including like big leaders as OpenAI, is like how to verify in like more like fuzzier environments. So like if you're generating images, can you like automatically verify which one are better and like which one are worse? You still like cannot reliably do that. You still need to do. You still need like humans to label what works, what doesn't. But the idea is that like from what you should think about this as a crypto builder is that like your application could potentially serve if you like build it as a learning environment for like AI agents. Your application, whatever it is, it could be a source of like an infinite source of training data or like fine-tuning data for AI models optimized just for your specific application, just for your vertical, whatever it is. Another big thing of 2025 is like we kind of have this general consensus now when like OpenAI became like a for-profit company. We had this like recent podcast with like Andrei Karpathy. Everyone kind of agreed that like AGI, like artificial general intelligence and super intelligence, isn't coming like immediately right now. We had it previously with like GPT-5. So GPT-5 was great, but it's like focused on intelligence, efficiency and price, not on super intelligence. And yeah, Karpathy said that we like had these like three layers. So we have the, as I say, like pre-training, we have like supervised fine-tuning. Now we have like reinforcement learning from all those environments. But those like three layers, and feels like that's not it. We need to think what like layers 4, 5, 6 and build there. We'll talk about this like just in a moment. And another important stuff that's like still happening, just kind of like very popular, but only in very niche environments, is like synthetic data pipelines. And they're like different when you essentially, you also have like some kind of environment, but like instead of letting the AI play inside of this environment, you just use it to generate data. So like one of the most obvious parts is like, for example, as you know, if you have wall clock, just like clock on your wall that shows the time, AI models are trained from images like mostly from the internet. And when people make photographs of those clocks, so like essentially they put it like at roughly the same time, like 10 past 10 or something like that. And because of that, like models are like severely overfitted. They cannot reliably like take a look at the image of the clock and tell what time is it. And you can like, for example, you can like build an environment that essentially just renders an image of clock at different time, generates like an image and caption for this model, and just generate this an infinite amount of training data, and like instantaneously solve one problem that currently like most of AI models have. You can do the same with your like application. If you have like any stuff where like AI model is struggling to do with like whatever you have, if it has like any inherent biases or like missing any like that, if it has like any gaps in knowledge, one thing you should like definitely consider, like think, okay, so I have like my application, like can I somehow use it like to generate this synthetic data and like fill this gap in like domain knowledge of models? Because once you dig like deep enough, all the best models, including like GPT-5 and all the others, they sometimes have like those very prominent gaps in their knowledge that you, as a person who's like building some very specialized like app around very specific vertical, you can like fill this gap better than anyone else and have like much better user experience inside your product. And yeah, another use case for those synthetic pipelines is just like training very small, very capable models. And this is another like potential trend we can see in the near future, maybe even like this year or like beginning of next year, where we kind of have this like with the first like AI enabled personal computers. So we have like NVIDIA Spark, we have those few computers from HP and others that have NVIDIA GB10 chips, which is like essentially they're like desktop chips. They're like desktop grade supercomputer chips, and they will enable like new use cases where like you won't need so like you will be able to run your AI model directly on your client's, your user's machine. And what that would mean essentially is that like right now a lot of people in crypto, they're like trying to solve this like private compute thing. So we have RC8004, like intense intense API. We have zero knowledge compute, like ZK proofs, and we have like a lot of various like different stuff. And like we have trusted compute, and like they all are trying to solve this idea of okay, so we have like some other like decentralized machine running AI models that like doing something for the users, and we need to somehow prove that they're like completely private, they don't leak user data, etc., etc. But it actually could be that, and a lot of people like pouring their resources towards this stuff. But actually, it could be like the solution could be from the other way around. Just put the model, just make the model like small enough so that the client can actually run it on their machine. And once you do this, you'll also like unlock the huge potential. So like right now, like you cannot really give you can't really like ask users to provide all the private data they have about all their wallets, etc., etc., like to some kind of lemon, so send it to some kind of server. Because it's like a huge privacy and trust risk, etc. But if you have your model like running at the same device, like no data is like leaving the system, it's completely air gapped. It also like unlocks a lot of new use cases for you. Whew. That was like the obvious parts. Now we are reaching the untapped potential part. Untapped potential is like what like me actually as a AI builder in crypto is focused on, and what I think like other people should be focused as well. That's like the emergent parts that we see developing for sure. So I would say those like moderate reward and very low risk things. So we know they will get better for sure in the next like 3 to 6 months, and it absolutely makes sense to invest in it. Like it's essentially like the free launch. There are like, of course, many different topics. I just try to come up with 3 that I think the most important, and also 3 like that have the best risk reward ratio. So we have first multimodality. What does it mean? So like previously when discussing like ACAP fractal, I mentioned like multimodality there in the sense that we process like natural text, but also we process all the crypto related data. Smart contracts, trades, etc., etc. We have like custom encoders for this, and like another solution that like DeepSeek and some other labs started like suggesting literally last week, like last couple of weeks, is that like what if we treat all those demands as just images? So like instead of loading screenshot of the text oh sorry, instead of loading text into the model, you just load the screenshot of text. Instead of loading like some sheet with like financial data, you make a screenshot of this sheet and feed it in financial data, and it unlocks like multiple various use cases. Like first, it like saves you tokens, and that means that you can like achieve the bigger context with the same data. First, it like allows you to seamlessly adjust the like resolution of the images, and this way you can like compress your data. So you can like, you think like all this like part of data is actually like very high priority. You make it like higher resolution, so like it like consumes more tokens, and think, oh, that's like part is actually like low importance. I'm gonna like scale it down, scale the screenshot it down, and spend less tokens of it. It gets lossy, but like it's okay because it's like low priority, and I can fit like more high importance data into the context. I'm absolutely sure it should be possible to do the same stuff with all the crypto-related data as well. So like if you have like any internal data in your application, etc. One thing that if you like really want to experiment, one thing that I would advise is to, especially like if you are considering doing like what I mentioned like previously with like synthetic pipelines, is like build synthetic pipelines where you have like some internal data from your application, whatever it is, and build it like build those synthetic data sets using like not just natural text, but actually like using images. Because like by the moment you build this kind of pipeline, we'll definitely see more like open source models that like exploring the same idea of like like making all the even like pure like getting rid of models that like working just with text and switching more and more to multimodal stuff. Another thing is like what we see with all the video generators, like large world models, they're just getting smarter and smarter. I'm not 100% sure what to do with this in terms of crypto, but we can just, I guess, make a safe bet that like we'll see more and more models that like not just for text, but for like reasoning, but like very complex reasoning with like very different kinds of data modalities. Yeah, I already mentioned like small models that you can like run on device. It's also like absolutely low risk, moderate reward field. If you're a developer who like wants to get started, or if you have like some basic knowledge of working with like AI training and reinforcement learning, I guess my advice, like take a look at like on like Tinker, like in thinking machines, they're like new service for training fine-tuning models. It probably will be like for a while the most convenient way to like easily like train very small, very efficient models. Learning environment, like another thing that I already briefly touched. So yeah, if you should think of your application, in my opinion, you should think of your application, whatever it is, or your like system service, as not something you actually build for your users, but something you build for AI agents to learn. Simply because like if you build in a way that like agent can like play around with it, like explore, etc., you build a machine that like produces an infinite amount of data for like AI models to learn. And that means like whenever new open weights models are coming up, you'll be like profiting from that, because like you'll already have this like huge data set, huge environment that you can like connect your model to and just make it self-improve. It's like a free lunch. Finally, yeah, it's getting like much longer than I expected. I hope you can like keep up. Of course, like I'm if you want to catch up after this call, let's do this. Yeah, this the most important stuff. This high, I would call the items here, they're like high risk and extremely high reward, in a sense that like they're high risk because like right now I would say we have no idea whether like we will solve them in the foreseeable future. But like if you will bet on them being solved, and they will be solved, your application, your service, whatever you're building, will benefit a lot from this. So yeah, one issue with like RL exploration, we like mentioned, we discussed that we have like DeepSeek, we have like everyone. One issue with like RL exploration is like while it makes models much smarter at those specific domains like math, coding, etc., one issue that no one has solved so far, literally no one, including like OpenAI and all the others, is like why models are getting better at those specific tasks they are being like RL'd for. Those models are getting like less and less diverse. They're getting like the outputs of them, their outputs are getting like more and more sloppy. So like on one hand, like the performance for this specific benchmark you're optimizing for is getting higher, but the model is in a sense getting like more autistic. I would say something like this. And like right now we haven't figured out how to do exploration style RL. Well, like instead of narrowing down one point, it actually like tries to cover like a more diverse set of solutions, etc. Maybe like it should be like not a reinforcement learning at all. Maybe it should be some kind of like other algorithm. Maybe it should be like a combination of algorithms. We haven't figured this out yet. The first like open experiments are showing that actually like scaling RL algorithms that we have right now doesn't really work like scaling pre-training. Scaling pre-training models actually plateauing really quickly. You'll see. If it will be solved, yeah, if you have like a lot of RL environment, you will benefit from this being solved a lot. Continuous learning is the stuff that we have like with like in one issue that we have with neural networks since their like inception, I would say. So one issue that we have like with LLM, since we have like, as I say, those like a lot of learning layers, you have like pre-training, supervised fine-tuning, you have RL, probably we're gonna add something on the top. One issue is like if you want to add like a lot of new data, usually you need to like to repeat from the step one, because like if you try to start like retraining the model with just like new data, it will start forgetting anything else that came before. If you have like a very limited amount of new data that you can eject, is okay as long as you do like parameter efficient fine-tuning. It will be all right. But like if you are really updating your like models with a lot of new data, which is really important for crypto, because like crypto is updating really quickly, your model will start to forget all this stuff. Again, like we don't have the solution for this, but like if you're betting on the fact that it will be solved and it will actually be solved by someone, you will win a lot from this. And kind of the same like multi-hop reasoning for agents. That's like slowly being solved, but like I guess like an open yeah, on a second thought, I would actually put this like multi-hop reasoning on the previous slide, because I think it's actually more, I'm pretty sure it will be solved. And yeah, the idea like that DeepSeek had this one issue. If you're like trying to have a long conversation with it, it wasn't like those like RL algorithms. They are like not very suited for multiple messaging. So like as long as your like message had like you have like one specific task, you ask, yeah, I'm able to do this, it will work all right. But as you continue the conversation by adding like more and more steps and more like messages with each new model, with each new message, the IQ with all this model will like drop significantly. Not very good. And of course, if you're building complex environment, you will be affected for this. But I'm pretty sure it will be solved. Yeah, on the second thought, I should have moved this to a previous slide about like low risk things. And not quite sure about like long context. Of course, like especially in crypto, where like you have a lot of data. The more data you put into your model, the better, because like I mean, like in theory, because like there's a lot of information in crypto that should be taken into account when processing anything, whatever. But we see with the newest benchmark that like even the best models like GPT-5 and all the others will like degrading very quickly once like the context goes over like 64K of tokens, which is like not a lot. So even the models that in theory can process 2 million of tokens are like degrading really quickly. And it's still ongoing conversation on how to solve this. Like some people like suggesting like alternatives to the quadratic attention mechanism, but so far in scientific space there are like no conclusion on what to do with this. And finally, in this kind of joke, like one unanswered question is like what to do with my business, with my application, with my service, etc., whatever, when super intelligent comes. And the best answer I can provide is like just ask super intelligence what to do, because like super intelligence will be smarter than me and it will know better. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you very much. It was like really dense. I was trying to compress my like most important thoughts about like what's happening right now in like AI and how it could be like applied in crypto. Try to think about what are obvious trends that are happening right now and how we can bet on them, and also speculate about those thoughts that questions that maybe will be answered, maybe not, but yeah, if it will, and if you're betting on them, you will benefit from this a lot. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Vladimir. That's a fun closing point. That like when the AI takes over, what do you do? Just ask the AI. That was maybe the most optimistic view I think I've heard when that happens. So I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
We'll give it just a second for any Q&As to come through. But yeah, I thank you so much for dropping through. I appreciate the density of that. I know you apologized a couple times, but I don't think anyone's ever complained about somebody handing them too much information. Maybe they complain, but they shouldn't. I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Other than that, yeah, thank you so much for coming through. And if anybody has any questions or anything like that, do you have you might have already pushed it, but do you have any particular channels you would tell people to hit up?
Yes, like for Dreamathoners, we have like a dedicated channels for partners. Just find me there and like ping me, slide into DMs if needed. If somehow you're from Somnia but like not from Dreamathon and you're just interested, let me just scroll back a bit. So like first, if you're just interested in Alphakek, you can like check out those links. If you're just a developer builder and you want to try something out, if you just want to connect, just message me on Telegram or Twitter. And yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vladimir. We'll probably end the stream here, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming
Thank
through.
you very much. Thank you.
All right.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.